This Copenhagen Climate Summit is a communist summit. They're trying to hijack the economies of the West under the guise of saving the environment. What is my evidence for that statement? The evidence is what you're not seeing in your rotten, stinking, worthless newspaper and on your useless television networks. The red flags, the communist hammer and sickle. Huge banners all over the streets of Copenhagen being blocked by the New York Times, LA Times, Chicago Tribune. You name the rotten, stinking, old-line newspaper, and you'll see the old-line government media complex that has failed because the people have had enough of these liars in the media. The flags are waving in Copenhagen. Naked communism with hammers and sickle. I told you it's a scam. I've told you it's a scam. Here you have a city in snow called Copenhagen, while these schmucks are sitting there giving speech after speech about saving the world when it has nothing to do with saving the world. Even the biggest dope of them all, one of the most useless people on the planet, Prince Charles, who has never worked a day in his life, a weakling who is living off the violence of his ancestors, a man who's done nothing in his life except paint paintings and fall off polo horses and lose his girlfriends, gets up there and talks about the climate and it's all falling and the sky is falling. Listen to clip 09 with Prince Shmuck Charles.
Over more than 3 decades, I've been privileged to talk with some of the world's most eminent experts on climate change and environmental issues, and to listen to the wisdom of some of the world's indigenous people. The conclusion I draw is that the future of mankind can be assured...
Oh, shut up. You can't even finish a paragraph without making me want to slam something down. Why don't you learn how to speak English the way it should be spoken? What do you mean, issue? Issue. You have not listened to the world's most eminent experts on climate change. You dolt, you. The most eminent experts on climate change you don't even want to hear from. Listen to clip 10 now as Moron goes on.
For the grim reality is that our planet has reached a point of crisis, and we have only 7 years before we lose the levers of control.
Wait. He knows the exact amount of time that the world's coming to an end. Now, wait until you hear who he quotes now. Wait, it gets better. Listen to the schmuck.
For the grim reality is that our planet has reached a point of crisis, and we have only 7 years before we lose the levers of control. As the president of Gabon said at a meeting I hosted last month, the door to our future is closing. This, I fear, is not an overstatement, for climate change is a risk multiplier. It has the potential to take all the other...
Turn it off. Now listen to who he's quoting as a source now, the president of Gabon. You hear this? Some dictator, some tin pot dictator from Africa now he's quoting because the man is, of color and from Africa, so he must know everything. Listen to 11 now.
To all appearances, we seem intent upon consuming the planet.
This is a scream. Here you have a descendant, an inbred descendant, who is living off the largesse of his violent ancestry, who has never worked a day in his life. He lives in England, a country that it's a beautiful country, by the way. And he says, to all intent, we seem to be consuming the planet. Listen to how he parses his words. Even he knows, even he hears what bullcrap he's dishing out. So play clip 11 again.
To all appearances, we seem intent upon consuming the planet. It seems likely on current patterns of use that our global fisheries will collapse by 2050. And already fresh water is becoming scarcer, placing global...
Let's stop already. Stop with your rubbish. You couldn't even hold on to your wife. What do you know about the earth, for God's sakes? Listen to clip 12 now.
In our increasingly precarious situation, on a small, unique and precious planet, this is not a problem resolvable in terms of them and us. For, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to the air we breathe and the water we drink, there are no national boundaries. We all depend on each other and, crucially, on each other's actions.
Who wrote this rubbish? This is something that a high school student would write on Ritalin. And here we have a dolt who's never worked a day in his life putting out liberal pap that has no meaning whatsoever, that is not based upon any science whatsoever. And the fact of the matter is he has nothing on his mind except placating people on the earth. And so, my friends, as I say to you, if you listen to the morons like Al Gorleone, the head of the Gorleone crime syndicate, in my opinion, or if you listen to the useless Prince Charles, Big Ear himself, a man who could not even hold on to his lovely wife, and now he wants to try and hold on to phrases and statements and facts and figures that he doesn't even understand. He starts out with a bang and he ends in a whimper. If you listen to his speech, he comes out with a bang, as I say, and as he goes on and on and on, you could see he starts to get embarrassed by his own words. He recognizes how hollow they are. He is the ultimate hollow man that T.S. Eliot wrote about. And there he is in all his glory, warning us that the sky is falling unless what? My suggestion to Prince Charles would be to move out of one of the palaces that he inherited, that he didn't build himself, and give it to some poor immigrant from, let us say, Pakistan. He should let Muslims from Pakistan, perhaps from one of the most violent mosques, perhaps the mosque up in northern London, they should turn one of his palaces into a mosque to make up for his excesses and the excesses of his ancestors. The royal family could also give away the royal treasury and the royal holdings, the paintings and the art, if they care so much about Gabon and the Africans and those of Oceania. Why don't they start by putting their fortune where their mouth is? Why don't they give up their own wealth instead of telling us to give up what we've worked for? That's my opinion, okay? That's how I see the world. I'm sick of this garbage. I'm sick of this rubbish, of these idiots without any scientific knowledge whatsoever telling us that the sky is falling.